Clearly voters indicated that renewable energy is important through the passage of the Renewable Portfolio Standard. That's going to take time to implement, but shows that a lot of voters are very committed to these issues and realize that we need to start working on them. And there, of course, as many of you are aware, probably discussed earlier today, and we'll discuss later today, many projects underway to bring that goal and requirement into a reality. So I think there are many good things which have been happening in the state with regard to renewable energy and energy efficiency. That said, there's more that can be done. And whether you're motivated by sort of opportunity or by challenge, we've got both of them about to confront us. In terms of energy efficiency, I know that there's sort of many different ways of ranking and thinking about these things. One organization is called the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy. According to their methodology, actually, Missouri ranks 45th out of 50 states in terms of energy efficiency. Of the states that border Missouri, only Kentucky is lower, and Iowa ranks 14th and Illinois 19th. So state pride, if nothing else, motivates me to think that we can do even more in regard to this. And of course, this is just one methodology that looks at utility incentives, public benefit programs, transportation policies, building efficiency standards, et cetera. And you can assign your own sort of set of ranking to these things. But I think when you do it, whether we end up 45th or 30th or something like that, there's a lot of opportunity for us here in this state. As another example, we're one of only 8 states without any systematic commercial building energy efficiency standards, and we're one of 13 states without any systematic residential energy efficiency standards, which is very much about what's the future going to look like. We have heard, our department and others invest millions of dollars in weatherization. That's addressing opportunities of the past. What can we do about making our buildings more energy efficient going forward? I think my department has done some things, and there's also more that we can do. The Energy Center distributes information about energy efficiency, works with utility partners. We have had several $1 million a year, which we've put towards weatherizing low-income houses, and several $1 million a year that we're loaning to municipalities to improve energy efficiency in schools. These have all been very good efforts, but I think that there's a lot more that we can do. In terms of the potential, some people have sort of said, well, if Missouri could save 15% in electricity through energy efficiency and 10% in natural gas, we're talking about sort of 10 gigawatts of power by 2020 that we could save, which is many power plants here. It would have the additional benefit of saving carbon dioxide, and this is a benefit to all of us, whether it's commercial enterprises, industries, or residential consumers. In terms of renewable energy, in terms of the opportunity and sort of where we stand right now, according to the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, we're 49th out of 50 states in the use of renewables to generate energy. And I understand that we've had the benefit of low-cost coal for a long time, and we've had the benefit of low electricity rates, and that has, of course, been very helpful for the economy here. But again, I think that we can do more than just be better than Delaware in terms of what we're doing with regard to renewable energy. And clearly, Proposition C is going to setting the standard for us to do even more. In terms of and sort of even generally, I think there are opportunities for the state to engage in various fora to make sure that we're part of it. So, for example, we've been part of the governor's ethanol coalition, now biofuels coalition, but we've not been part of the wind energy coalition. There are other opportunities where the state, I think, can get engaged with the debate that's going on. Even if we don't agree entirely with every single one of the principles of those organizations, by not participating, we're losing out opportunity to influence the debate, which would be helpful to all of us in the state of Missouri. In terms of wind, we have a lot of potential. We are 18th, I've seen 18th or 20th in terms of different states that we can do. Wind developers are doing a tremendous amount of work in the northwestern part of the state, and I think we also have, as I said, tremendous technical expertise, which we can lead to manufacturing here. We can export those things as well. Solar, people may say, well, you're Missouri, you're in the middle part of the country, it's not like you're Arizona or New Mexico or anything like that, but we actually compare quite favorably to other parts. Our summer solar radiation is similar to Florida. The economics of solar are changing all the time as new technologies are developed, as there's more and more production, which is driving down the costs. So I think that there's a lot we can do there. And then biomass. Missouri is just, it's a leading agricultural state. This is probably one of the greatest of the opportunities that we have, whether it's sort of in traditional stocks going into the creation of biofuels, or looking at switchgrass, or wood, or animal waste. There are just a lot of opportunities here for us. At this point, of course, the promise may be greater than the actual execution, but we have to start working on these things, and this is going to be a great opportunity for the state. And I guess one other point which is important is that this links, of course, back to economic development as well. We have workers in the state who can do this, and this will generate lots of good jobs. We need carpenters and people in the building trades who are otherwise underutilized to help make our buildings more energy efficient, whether it's through weatherization programs or through the buildings, beautiful buildings designed like this that will start going up either through stimulus money or as the economy starts to rebound. There are more than 25,000 carpenters in Missouri, and they're paid an average of $20 an hour. These are good, hardworking people who can be put with their skills and with a little bit more training into these kinds of green jobs that help with energy efficiency. We need electricians as well, and operations managers. Smith Electric Vehicles is coming. They need people who can work in assembling cars. We've got welders who can help put together solar power equipment. We need truck drivers to be driving the biofuels. There are lots of great opportunities. I think sometimes when people think about renewable energy jobs, or they think, oh, these require years and years of training and very fancy education. And there's certainly a key part of that, thinking about paving the way of the technologies. But we also have people with existing skills who just need a little additional boost, who can be put to work on creating the energy efficient economy of Missouri in the future. Again, I think this is the opportunity. I think that there are external forces which are going to be pushing us to act in the state as well. And I think there's sort of three of those as well. There's the activity taking place at the federal level with regard to greenhouse gases. There are energy prices, and then the current level of unemployment and economic challenge, I think, is also sort of a push for us as well. With regard to greenhouse gases, regardless of your position on global warming, whether you believe the science or disagree with the science or have a view somewhere in between, I think it's clear that there's a lot of momentum in Washington, D.C. For action on this issue. The Obama administration has called for legislation to reduce the emission of carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases by roughly 80% by 2050, which is a mere 41 years from now, with some intermediate targets along the way. Representatives Waxman and Markey introduced legislation earlier this week that have a more significant intermediate target. And there have been dozens of proposals during the past few legislative sessions. You sort of can't visit Washington and but have the sense that the question is not if something is going to happen, it's when is it going to happen, and what is it going to look like, and what is it going to mean for the states. And the EPA is not waiting on this. The EPA announced that it's going to collect data on approximately 80 to 95% of the greenhouse gas emissions. And just less than 10 days ago, they sent a proposal to the White House that would label carbon dioxide as a danger to public welfare, which would be a key precursor in regulating greenhouse gas emissions as pollutants. So again, carbon regulation in the form of whether it's a tax or a cap-and-trade regime is coming at some point, and it's going to change the economics of energy, particularly in a state like Missouri, where 4/5 of our power is currently generated by coal. I think also in terms of fuel prices, if you sort of read what's happening with fuel prices, and you've even seen what's happened at the pump, that they've started to come back up. And OPEC apparently has cut production actually more than demand has fallen. So as our economy rebounds, which I know it's going to, you're going to start to see even more pressure on prices. So that's another motivator for us as the economics are going to be sort of swinging back into where things become more cost appropriate to be investing in energy efficiency and renewable energy.